Ah, budgeting. That term, which often causes a stir of anxiety and apprehensiveness in most of us. For some, it invokes an image of tedious calculations and restraints. For others, it's a necessary evil for keeping their finances in check. But let us put these thoughts aside for a moment and let me narrate to you an interesting tale. A tale as old as time, yet relevant as ever. Welcome to the Let Me Explain show. This is your host, Charles, but you can of course call me Charlie. Once upon a time, there was a man who despised the idea of budgeting. He was of the opinion that he could manage his expenses in his own unique way. This particular man decided to adopt a rather unconventional approach to saving money by becoming his own barber. He figured, how hard could it be? A pair of scissors in one hand and a comb in the other, he stood in front of the mirror, ready to undertake this daring feat of self-grooming. The man was convinced he had uncovered a secret path to frugality, and with a smirk on his face, he started his endeavor. The initial few snips seemed harmless, even successful. But as time passed, the trouble began. He tried to reach the back of his head. He knocked over the first mirror. Surprised, but not deterred, he moved to the second mirror, only to repeat the incident. A third mirror fell victim to his clumsy hands, leaving him standing in the aftermath of destruction. He was left with a reflection that bore a startling resemblance to a startled porcupine. It was a sight to behold, jumbled, uneven locks of hair sticking out in all directions. His regret was evident in the mirror shards that lay scattered around him. It was a learning experience, a lesson taught by his own reflection. Understood why barbers with their skilled hands and years of training charge the amount they do. After an hour of this chaotic self-haircut session, 3 broken mirrors, and a hairstyle that made him look like a deranged porcupine, he quickly realized why barbers charge what they do. So, if the mere thought of budgeting brings up images of porcupine haircuts or eating ramen noodles for every meal, don't worry. We're here today to introduce you to a budgeting concept that's as easy as pie, the 50-20-30 rule. This rule is so straightforward and uncomplicated, even the most financially illiterate among us could figure it out. Let's paint a picture to help you understand better. Picture an ordinary guy, just your typical everyman. We'll name him Joe for the sake of this illustration. Joe is your average working-class individual. He earns a reasonable salary, just enough to make ends meet. But like most of us, he often finds himself scratching his head, wondering where his paycheck disappears each month. Does that resonate with you? That's the 50-20-30 rule swoops in to save the day. This simple yet effective budgeting rule is designed to help people like Joe manage their finances better. Here's how it works. 50% of Joe's monthly income is allocated towards his necessities. These are the essential bills he can't avoid: housing, utilities, food and transportation. So if Joe's monthly income is £2,000, £1,000 of it is dedicated to these unavoidable expenses. Next, we move on to the 20%. This slice of Joe's salary is meant for savings. It could be an emergency fund for unexpected situations, a nest egg for his future, or a savings account for that dream holiday Joe has been yearning for. No matter the purpose, this is the money that Joe needs to stash away for a rainy day. In Joe's case, £400 of his monthly income is reserved for savings. Finally, we get to the part, the 30%. This portion of his income is Joe's to spend on his desires. A night at the cinema, a brand new video game, a fancy dinner with friends, or even a visit to the barber for that stylish haircut he's been eyeing. This is the money Joe can spend guilt-free on things that bring him joy and make life worth living. Hence, £600 of his monthly earnings are for his personal enjoyment. So £600 of his income goes towards whatever he pleases. Now, why is this rule so beneficial? To truly grasp this, let's dive a little deeper. It's more than just a mere balance. It's a harmonious blend that allows for a healthy financial. It ensures that Joe, a common man who represents us all, covers his basic necessities. This means he is never left in a compromising position, unable to afford his rent or groceries. It also allows him to save for the future. This is crucial because no one knows what tomorrow holds. By putting away 20% of his income, Joe is preparing for any unexpected expenses or financial emergencies that may arise. He is also building towards long-term goals like retirement or buying a home, ensuring he isn't stuck in an endless cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. In addition, this rule doesn't restrict him from enjoying the present. It designates 30% of his income for lifestyle choices, giving him the freedom to indulge in a nice meal, go on a trip, or buy that gadget he's been eyeing. It's a way of managing money that doesn't involve drastic sacrifices or even porcupine haircuts. So, if you're like Joe, or the man who thought cutting his own hair was a move, consider giving the 50-20-30 rule a try. It might just save you from a disastrous self-inflicted haircut, or from a monotonous of ramen noodles. These scenarios are amusing to think about, but they highlight the importance of wise financial management. And remember, budgeting doesn't have to be a scary word. It's just a way of making sure your money goes where it should, without sending you into a panic every time you open your wallet. So, here's to wise budgeting, better haircuts, and avoiding a noodle-based diet. Today, we've discussed the importance of making wise financial decisions, the art of getting a good haircut that not only suits your face, but complements your personality, and how to maintain a balanced diet that doesn't simply rely on a staple like noodles. We've ventured into the depths of personal finance, grooming and culinary choices, unraveled myths, and equipped ourselves with practical strategies for a better lifestyle. These simple yet significant aspects of life can make an enormous difference when approached with wisdom. Remember, it's all about balance and moderation. Till next time, this is your host, signing off.